The Hill's kitchen crew was called upon by the local Flaming Fist officer, Captain Zaj. Remember that guy?
Sure.
He he informed the party that the Cult of the Dead 3 has been taking advantage of the refugee crisis from El Tirel, and mass killings were happening all around the city. An informant claims to have information that can lead to the dissolution of the cults in the city right now, and they provided a sample to Captain Zaj. He deputized you guys to vet that information originally, which I lost my place because the information dealt with a intended assassination in your turf. Did we lose Travis, or did he just blank out on us?
He just signed in.
Yeah.
He wasn't here.
Yeah, he wasn't here.
You just started.
I thought that was on purpose, and you knew like he wasn't coming and didn't tell us.
I feel bad now.
I completely forgot that he was supposed to be here. So
I'm like, oh, Travis isn't here. He must not be here. So I'm like,
I remembered him. How
I did too. I'm like, okay, we're just playing.
Well, I remember Travis, and God, how dare DM?
Yeah, he was our wing boy.
Yeah, no, he's our Nightwing who has the really low cut disco style.
Yeah, my brain twin over here, and I just assumed he was here.
I can't see or hear him. Can anyone else see and hear him?
nope.
No.
Okay, as long as it's not just my end fucking up. Sorry, continue the recap, sir.
I am going to continue the recap, and hopefully he figures his stuff out. I want longer
We are so
sessions. not
nice.
shorter ones. Okay, so you guys intercepted the cultists, and one of the intended victims was saved, but the other was not. And when the killer that got away escaped, he decided to kill 3 random people in their house. Hi, Travis.
Yay, Travis.
I
I
started
still
the
don't have
recap
him.
Yeah,
because
I still don't have him.
I'm gonna try to reconnect.
Okay.
Oh,
Me too.
okay. Oh, Becca went away.
They're reconnecting. To
There
Tony.
she is.
Everybody.
Yay! Is
I
everybody
still haven't reconnected. Give me a second.
Oh.
And I have nobody. Oh,
Are you being?
I
Hey,
have.
he's back.
Yeah, I have everybody.
All right, everyone has everyone.
Yes, everyone
Alright.
has everyone.
Onwards with the recap. The next morning, you guys met up with Captain Zaj. Upon being told that the information was vetted, he rewarded you guys for your efforts and then offered a more substantial sum if you all track down the informant on his behalf, get the rest of the information, and take immediate decisive action on it. You guys decided to investigate the informant, a woman whose name was Tarina. Captain Zaj told the party they'd be able to find her at the Elf Song Tavern later that evening. He did offer a parting warning / order to be polite because she has a lot of very powerful friends.
Right.
So you guys investigated. I think it was Strauss that identified the name was an alias of the once infamous Rhonda Thunderbell, who was first mate on a pirate vessel known as the Uncivil Serpent. You guys then tracked down a contact of Decimus, a tariff collector down at the piers named, I believe, Gary. Was Gary the name you came up with?
Yes.
Okay, good. Shayna didn't steer me wrong there. I was trying to remember yesterday, and she said Gary, and I was like, that's what was in my head, but I couldn't remember it. I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it's totally a fantasy spelling of Gary too.
With
Not on my-
2 R's, right? Garry.
Gherry.
Oh, there's
Oh,
no
damn it.
superfluous apostrophe in there.
Well, he was human, so
Oh.
we wanted to go easy on.
Okay, anyway. So, you guys found Gary. He was pretty paranoid, made some of you escape through the poop chute. AKA his emergency trapdoor that led into, underneath the pier, which was gross. You guys didn't actually get submerged because someone froze the water, if I recall correctly, before landing with some good rolls.
Strauss.
And then Strauss, however, then turned around and did not do so well when the boat pulled in and tried to I forget something he wanted to do to get the captain in the water, and it didn't.
I tried to dissonant whisper him so that the captain would run into the water. It didn't work out very well from my
And luckily, someone diffused the situation so that the entire crew didn't, just go to town on you guys, which would have probably not gone well, and we'd be restarting from a different point. And after that, I think that's pretty much where we left off, right?
Mhm.
Cool. So, current time is probably around, I believe, 1 p.m., if my notes are correct. Foot traffic has picked up significantly in the city, and the business of the day is well underway.
Strauss is still in an old cranky confused man mode. Oh, I heard something about some wine and some whiskey. There's an inn nearby, is there not? This is to Lola, whoever dragged Louis out of that mess.
I don't know who helped drag you out, but I do remember we were talking about what was the name of the inn, the Elf something.
The
Elf
Elf Song Tavern is where you are supposed to track down Tarina later. And it's also where I believe you heard that the captain of the Uncivil Serpent would likely be found later that evening as well.
Yeah, Lek. I remember
It came up in conversation, but I know it came up.
he invited me in that way of if I want to join for a drink later.
That does sound vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a tavern nearby. I know Elf Song.
That sounds
could
like
go
a
check
good
it
place
out
to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you guys are hustling and bustling through the roads, because I mean it's back across town a bit, are you guys just going straight there? Are you keeping your ear to the ground? You asking around? Do you just
No, Strauss is actually all about that drink right now. He's fallen off of a building, fallen off of a pier.
It's been a rough 12 hours.
Yeah.
okay?
I don't actually remember where I was, but if it makes sense to meet up with you guys from wherever I was, I will do so.
You were
You guys
def-
are all around the pier area.
Yeah,
with incognito activities, if I recall.
you and I were both trying to recruit people for our respective religious purposes.
Right.
One of
I'm
you,
the only one who was able to
Yeah.
recruit anybody.
I think Odd did.
Yeah.
I forget who Odd got, but Odd got someone. Hopefully-
Odd got one or two people. Davari scared off the people that Lola was trying to get.
Yeah.
So Odd's the only one who made out in the positive.
Which, Chris, if you want to get like a little blurb together on the person you recruited, I may be able to work that in at some point as well. You can just text it to me later.
Okay.
At homework if you want something like that to ever appear in your life.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about it. You said that last time. I
Oh,
forgot.
good. See? Look at that. I think of things sometimes.
Oh.
All right. Who is presently leading the foray towards the Elf Song Tavern?
Oh, I'll be in front.
You'll be up front. Then, Decimus, would you please roll me a 1d10?
Okay.
Yay, random encounters. Yay.
Hey. Stop it.
Oh, 1.
Fucking
Jeez. All right, let me look at my list that I made here.
damn cat. Hold on.
Okay. Cool. This is the one that I didn't make props for. I had intended to, but the day got away from me.
And so this is your fault. This is all your fault.
Basically, this encounter I can just describe anyway. As you're walking through, you guys come upon a square where there is a protest actively going on. Think like Union Stripe style looking protest, people with signs, walking in a little half square around their intersection and not beyond. Let's see here. The signs are varied. Some call for the gates to be open to let the refugees in. Some say welcome the refugees with open arms. Some say refugees equal money.
Terry has a thing, looks like.
right? Some of them actually say that the flaming fists are inept and unable to help. Some of them say the flaming fists are the source of all of Boulder Gate's woes. They say the flaming fists are stymieing trade and profits, and a lot of them are saying that the flaming fish should just leave. There is also people handing out propaganda flyers, and that's what I wanted to make today and totally didn't get to. I was going to make like a little handout propaganda flyer for everyone hating on the flaming fists in this little protest here.
Yeah, I just want to say, Chester, do we see anybody that we know from our previous encounters before we became part of the Flaming Fist? I also wanted to look if we're not matching so that we're not looking like Flaming Fist because we said we didn't want to actually have an outfit.
Would you like to recognize someone in this mix? I hadn't planned on it. It was intentionally just something going on around you, but sure, if you would like to say that you know someone, I will allow it.
Yeah, well, the only reason I wanted to say I know somebody, it's more so that we can be recognized as something else. Not necessarily there's conflict, but whether or not we get involved in it because of somebody, or they try to pull us into the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. I mean, yeah, that's fine. You can just walk around it too. They're not violently protesting or anything yet. It's just chanting and walking in circles and handing out flyers. So far, a non-violent, peaceful, because the Flaming Fists are, quite violent about protests that object to them.
Yeah. And are they between us and the bar?
I mean, yeah, but you could go down a block and go around it very easily. This is just a.
Can we just walk out the room?
Sure. Yeah. And as long as no one's actively looking to engage in physical conflict, you can pass through them, with some shoulders and turning sideways and all that jazz. It's a pretty busy city, so, it's just mingling through the crowd.
Yeah, I'm not pausing. I'm just going to kind of push through it.
Good stuff.
Little wing shove here and there.
Rude.
And then just past that, I actually do need. What did I say here? Oh, that's right. I need.
As we get right past it, I would like to use minor illusion to go to the protester nearest me as they pass, and I'm gonna minor illusion of flame around their upturned fist and be like, "Look, it's a conspirator!" and then run away.
Very well. I will say that that does cause quite a bit of shock as people step back. You can hear some people totally buying into this and starting to boo that person. Some cabbage gets thrown. A few other people said, I didn't think their fists actually burned. I always just thought that was their battle standard.
No, it's literal.
But, they're commoners, so you've got a lot of back and forth on what exactly is going on there. So you've just sown the seeds of further chaos in their midst. But, Strauss, I do need a perception check from you.
Oh, man. I'm so bad at this.
And so while he's rolling for that, as long as we go through the group, I'm actually going to get caught, and I'm just going to start going in the circle with them.
Okay.
Can I roll to see if I notice so I can help Mello get out?
I rolled an 11 on my perception, which is one better than my passive perception, so bad.
Okay. So you didn't actually see this coming. However, as you're getting through the crowd, a hand appears on your shoulder, just very lightly, drums the fingers across your shoulders in a uncomfortably familiar manner. Because as soon as you see and feel that hand, you know exactly who this is.
Joe Biden.
No.
No, sorry.
The hand actually belongs to a very attractive woman named Vendetta Kress.
That's a name.
It is. Her name is Vendetta.
Oh.
Of course it is.
This is actually.
I take it she holds.
Didn't create her. She is a patriarch's daughter, so she's actually pretty affluent and wealthy. Her father is actually the leading wine distributor in all of Boulder's Gate. She makes a hobby out of finding Strauss and flirting uncomfortably with him whenever she sees him.
Oh, Vendetta.
anyone who's seen this isn't sure if she actually likes him or if she just likes torturing him or both.
With a name like Vendetta.
Yes.
Vendetta, I was kind of on my way to. I have prior plans. I'm kind of giving Davari or Lola, anyone around like that, like
Yeah, I will go ahead.
if I
and
could
walk
be
up.
any paler, I probably would be.
Yeah, Davari will go ahead and walk up and go, hey, Lewis, who's your friend?
Ooh,
Is she coming with us for beverages?
This is Vendetta. Oh no, I'm sure Vendetta has way too much time and wouldn't possibly sully her refined palate with the swill we'll be drinking.
And she actually.
Oh, well, that's great. And Davari kind of like throws her arm over your shoulder and continues marching toward the.
And Vendeta's like, what? And then she just kind of like her shoulders slump.
I feel bad. I turn around. Did you actually need something, Vendetta? I'm sorry.
And Davari will lean over her shoulder. I mean, what we're drinking is going to be pretty harsh, but you are welcome to join us.
and she kind of like perks back up a little bit. Her shoulders cease slumping, and she kind of gives the hair a little toss, and she catches back up to the two of you, and she explains that, of course it is, darling. I only sell the good stuff to the reputable places. As you can see, we're making a delivery over here, and she gestures to a brand new restaurant that actually doesn't open or has not opened yet, but it's supposedly going to have the best chef Boulder's Gate has ever seen. There's been flyers circulating throughout the city. You have to have money to get on the list to hopefully get a table in the first few months type of place. You can see there's a cart nearby that has the standard from her family, like their family business standard, and there are people unloading it, and there are two Flaming Fist guards there that you recognize. However, they are not wearing their badges, which means they're probably moonlighting off duty as bodyguards for her today while she's making her deliveries in town.
I've heard about this restaurant. I unfortunately am a little strapped for funds.
Oh, don't worry. I made us a reservation already. The second week, you and I will be having dinner.
I'm getting that it's one of those times that like refusing is probably not a great idea. Like Strauss is aware of the politics of the town.
But Strauss, didn't we have that meeting at the college the second?
Oh, absolutely. Didn't you know it's actually a fundraiser for St. Trinians?
Is that so? Unfortunately, I kind of I don't really have anything to wear.
Oh, it's been taken care of, darling. I know your sizes quite thoroughly.
I assume me and someone else is already at the tavern by now.
Oh, you didn't stop to watch this?
No, I kept marching.
I stopped to watch him, and if I noticed that Mello got lost in the crowd, I'm trying to help her.
Of course, Vendetta. I will certainly go and escort you. A young, beautiful lady such as yourself shouldn't.
Good. And you know what? And she gives Davari like a 1-up and down. She's like, bring her too.
Okay.
Darling,
I'm gonna point at the weird protest that I caused and like the weird riot semi-riot I caused and be like, it's probably best if we all kind of scatter before that gets worse.
And she like actually turns to look, providing you the opportunity to vanish if you want. But she actually did turn to see what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Davari and be like,
It's for St. Trinians, though.
Actually, he's gonna be like, let's go before she makes me wear a cummerbund again.
You go ahead. I'll get the details.
Okay. Louis like runs off.
When she turns back around, she's like, oh, poo. He's done it again, that one.
Yeah, he manages to disappear a lot of the time. So I do have some decent clothes, but what is the actual? I am blanking on the term for what you're actually supposed to wear.
Dress code?
Yes, dress code for the opening.
So she again gives you the up and down, and then she like nods, like, I said it was fine, and she's like clearly going along with something she spoke before thinking about.
Yeah.
And she reaches into her petticoat and pulls out a little purse that holds business cards, and she pulls it out and she hands it to you, and she names a dressmaker who we will call Sagori, because that sounds fun, who actually is just outside the kitchen. And she says that you should call upon Sagori and let her know that your dress for the evening that night will be on her tab. Not Sagori's tab, but on Vendetta's tab.
Well, that is far too kind of you. I mean, I could certainly purchase the dress myself. I just don't know very many good dressmakers.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Just do me a favor. Make sure Louis shows up on time. I would hate to think how horribly my father would take it if he's not there to be introduced.
Absolutely. Have a lovely evening, dear, and I will see you at the fundraiser.
Yes, you will. And then she kind of like turns like with a and sashays back over to where her employees are unloading the wine casks for the new restaurant that's going to be opening, and I did not name.
Let us know when you do.
Let's see. Milo, are you still walking around the protest, or did you allow Lolo to extract you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if nobody stops me, I'm just going to keep walking. That's the point.
Well, I did I said I did if I noticed that you were lost and wandering.
Lost and wandering or protesting.
Yeah. Like a lost child. You like get one of those monkey backpacks with the leash and just get one of those for Milo.
So Milo, during your protest, you were probably actually able to collect 4 or 5 of the different propaganda pamphlets. You probably had your hand choice of whichever signage that you were interested in carrying for whatever message you wanted to stand behind, because there was a lot of different messages going on there. You probably even made a friend or two, If
Forced
you want to make
rhyme on the placard,
like, you met them there at the protest, they can be contacts for you later. You'd be like, oh, what about blah, blah? I met them at the protest. Just write down 3 names and you met them at the protest, and I'll know who you mean.
Well, I was wondering though, are any of those 3 be potential people for me to trade bodies with?
We can work that out on the side. So
Okay.
you can, you've got 3 contacts now that we can start hashing with on the side for that. Decimus, you said you kept walking odd. What did you do?
I was helping Milo, but then if I saw Louis and Javari's... Huh?
Nobody asked you.
Oh, no, I know. Well, I know now. At first, I thought I was being nice, and then I realized, oops, I ruined whatever devious plan he, of course, had going on, so that won't happen again. Sorry. Don't worry.
I asked Odd what Odd was doing, and then you just started speaking for Odd.
I'm sorry. I'm an asshole.
The person's just like, so Odd. Maybe she thinks she's Odd, and that I was talking to her new nickname. I don't know.
All right. Well, Odd would have been really confused what was going on because there's all of a sudden protesters. People are just like kind of splitting apart, doing different things. And she would just sit there, probably not too close to Davari, but she would have been listening to their whole conversation, thinking about what the hell's going on.
Okay. And you didn't get an invite.
I didn't try to get an invite.
Such a shame. Okay. Well, I guess we will move on to the Elf Song Tavern then. Let's see here. There.
Can't see anything.
So look to the bottom.
Oh, I got it. I got
be
it.
able to see the exterior of what's visible. There's a lot of potential for encounters here. So this is fully mapped, diagrammed, NPC'd out the Yang as part of the campaign. So I just went ahead and threw down a fog of war and figured, as you work your way through and see anything at all, it'll be there.
Okay.
Type situation. So if you want to drag your tokens over, you can, or you can we can figure this out as we're going too.
I really need to get like a picture for my token.
So Davari, did you get any money off of Vendetta?
Well, I wouldn't say money, but I am going to get a dress.
Oh, that's nice. You didn't happen to find a way for me to not attend?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
In fact, I am going to have to make sure you are on time.
I'm never on time. These sorts of things require me to be at least 15 minutes late.
Well, that's on time because that means you're fashionably late, correct?
Never want to be the first person to show up at the party. Being last is preferable, but not everybody should be last because then the party just never happens.
This is true.
Still, I suppose I can spend one more night trying to finagle money out of Vendetta. Her name is ominous.
Ominous, even.
It is. Wow, that is a loud keyboard.
Yeah, sorry, it's mechanical.
We just got those at work. My boss is complaining from the office next door because of how fast I type now that he can hear every keystroke. It's no longer an awesome thing that I work so fast.
It's now they're like, my eardrums.
Okay. Let's see here. So we will go ahead and reveal the opening area here for Mr. Nightwing. We can see further than that, huh? We'll do the whole main common room. How's that sound? There you go. So, I have a thing where I can, boom, bring this up. So many awesome things here.
That is a lot of people.
I told you, they statted this in out like crazy. So the Elf Song Tavern, things about this. Most of you have probably been here once or twice before. From time to time, completely randomized, the song of a disembodied female elf fills the tavern with a melancholy song giving the establishment its name. And actually, if you would like to mute your mic and listen to it, it sounds like that. Let's see here. It's never loud enough to actually disrupt conversation, but most patrons stop speaking when the song's on and listen respectfully, and then they resume conversation after it ends. Most customers frequent the tavern in the hopes of hearing it. Actually, it's kind of a draw to hear this elven ghost sing. If you can speak Elvish and understand lyrics, they're kind of a lamentation about an unnamed lover lost at sea. No one's really sure how the spirit came to haunt the tavern, and no one can predict when she's going to sing. No one really interacts with or has actually seen the ghost. She's very private, apparently. And yeah, that's that. The owner of the tavern is behind the bar. That person is a half-elf. His name is Alan Alith. Let's see here. He recently turned 75. There was a big birthday party. Some of you may even have dropped in or attended. It's totally up to you. He doesn't look 75, obviously, because, yay for being a half-elf. Some of you may know that he does do a little money lending on the side, but he's extremely selective about who he lends money to and the type of collaterals that he takes. And the loans are usually very tightly monitored and controlled, and none of you have ever qualified, even if you've asked. But yeah, this is the main room, as you can see. If you'd like to do anything or approach or look for anything,
I'm going up to the bar and asking for whatever's good. Just putting down some gold.
whatever is good.
I'm gonna go up to sorry, the half elf's name was I was gonna call him AA, but that's not actually.
It's Alan Alice.
Alan, have you reconsidered your donation, your yearly donation to St. Trinian's?
Reconsidered. Let me think. What was that again?
That you would actually give one?
No, I mean, what's Trinahus?
The school, the school I teach at.
You teach at a school? Aren't you a little young for that?
Becca,
What do you mean?
Becca, you're muted.
Can you even tie your shoes yet, boy?
I'm only half your age.
Right. And you're a teacher.
He falls off piers.
That I'm more inclined to believe than that you're a teacher.
Only intentionally. I've never fallen off of a pier unintentionally.
He fell off a roof too.
That was intentional too.
He was practicing.
Yeah, but he does actually teach for the Wayward Youth of St. Trinian's.
This is starting to sound like a
Could
scam.
at least I get a donation of maybe a glass of maybe an ale for a civil servant.
For the school.
For a civil servant. Fine, and then I'll put down whatever the glass ale is.
Your friend here's already put down sufficient coin to get you around, unless your friend's only buying for herself.
I'll sit there and look like I'm pondering for a second. I guess I'll buy him around. He's had a bad day.
Yeah.
How much would it be for an ale?
Well, for the average shelf, about 5 copper.
All right.
Unless you're looking for something fancy this afternoon, but knock yourselves out. Something that I did neglect to mention on your way through. Just inside the door, the 2 figures there. I don't know if their name tapes are visible to you guys or not.
They're not.
Okay. So let me get my selector thing here, just because it's interesting. So yeah, that one there is a half ogre named Skuna. She takes very unkindly to any employees of the inn ever being messed with. Fights erupt here all the time, and while in some places the bouncers intercede in fights, Skuna and the other one on the other side, which is actually an animated suit of plate mail named Clank,
That's awesome.
Yeah, they only get involved if someone hurts an employee. Otherwise, fights here go however they go, and whoever's left standing ends up paying the tab for the damages. So even if you win, you lose type situation.
Yeah.
Just
say hi.
FYI information, just kind of.
So if I start a fight, make sure I lose. Got it.
That's a way to go. Not necessarily sure I would advise it, because that could result in death depending upon who you fight with. It is that kind of a city. These things happen.
Would either of them be up for idle chatter?
I mean,
Or are they very stoic?
yeah, Skuna's a half ogre lady. You're probably not going to get a whole lot out of her.
Yeah.
And Clank is an animated suit of plate mail, so.
Well, that's a challenge if I've ever heard one.
I was just gonna say, have you met me? I can talk at a wall. Bring it. All right, fine.
Okay.
I'll say hi and be very nice, but I'll leave them alone.
Gotcha.
For now.
For
Okay.
now.
Well,
You don't know me.
And what would be the entertainment tonight?
the entertainment tonight or the entertainment right now?
Well, right now. We'll go with right now. Right now.
DeVar's actually pointing at Lewis at this point. Pretty sure it's you. You're the entertainment right now.
Oh, like the lady of Elfsong Tavern would ever deign to let someone else sing in her place. No, we do have a good game of bones going on upstairs. I hear the pot is quite good. Let's see. Shalandra over here, and he points to this couch right here, where there is a passed out elf. Supposedly, she said something about putting on a poetry reading later, but she was also doing Bloody Marys this morning shortly after dawn, and she's been rather comatose for a while now.
My type.
Weren't we supposed to meet that lovely lady that you had run into earlier and play a deck of cards with? What was her name? Tar something? You remember, we met her just a little bit ago. She said she wanted to play some
So
cards.
Louis is all about doing off this. Scott cannot remember the name of that person.
Tarina.
Oh, you mean Tarina? Yes. Yes, she did mention something about coming here later, but honestly, she is rather aggressive, and I don't pay much attention.
Behind you guys at this close table right here, the one closest to you actually snorts. Clearly, she'd been eavesdropping. She kind of turns around. She says, "That's a good way of putting it, but I wouldn't use that word around her."
Just to be sure, out of character, this isn't Tarina that just turned around and talked to us, right?
None of you have ever met either one of these people.
Okay.
This is.
And what would your name be? And I'm gonna spin around.
That's weird. She's named and she's not in my notes or in the online notes. So, and she just kind of will say that she turns back around to face you and she kind of tips her mug and she says, "Chaltine." And you?
You can call me Strauss. I teach
That's
at
a
the
fitting
local
name.
schools. Would you?
I think he is a teacher. What do you three say? And like her little table of 3 people, not 2 people, laugh.
Louis drinks. Was like, yes. Would you be any of you folks be interested in maybe assuaging your conscience with a slight donation to the poor orphans?
Poor orphans in a school, and you're looking for donations in a bar.
Acts of kindness
You know
can
what?
show up in
For that
even the
level
most
of
darkest
just
of
utter
places.
audacious ingenuity,
The light of charity
like, pulls out
shines even
a
in
platinum piece, and she says,
A platinum piece. Okay.
he says, "This better go where you're saying it's going, and not." And she like takes the coin down and stabs it like onto your gut, not like stabs, but like pushes it into your belly, and she's like, "It doesn't go in there."
Oh, of course. Davari, please, put this away.
So Davari actually takes out a small offering box with St. Trinian's symbol on one side. Says, "Go ahead, put it in the top." It has a little slot on it.
I don't even have the key to that.
No, I'm robbing later.
And then Louis will go back to his drinking.
Very good. Lolo, since I have a message from you that you are joining this table over here with these 3 fine patrons, I think that one is in the notes. Really? Another one that's named and not in the notes? What is wrong with this game?
Weird.
Okay, so this one here has the name of Yimur. What the? Yimiur. I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to say Yimur.
Yeah. You.
Yimur.
What were you drinking when you came up with these names?
I paid for the module.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is what he paid.
I fancied up to $50 and it came with all sorts of stuff. And
Oh, wow.
like I said, the notes for this map have named NPCs. Neither Faltine or Ymir are in the paragraph of details, nor are they in my notes from actually reading the module anywhere. So, not sure.
Maybe there's NPCs we're not actually supposed to talk to.
You know what? That's the point of being a GM. I get to make random shit up, right?
Yay.
So, Lolo, Ymir has invited you to join her and her 2 strapping masculine human friends.
All right. Yeah, if they seem up for a very specific kind of chat of the converting type, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll just make small talk.
Tell you what, roll a 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll a 1d20.
Okay.
And I'll let you actually spring off of whatever. And I have got like rumors that you guys could have been hearing while you were walking around, and I'll just say that was their conversation topic.
Oh, okay.
19. Well, that's actually somewhat pertinent. So right before you sat down, you heard Ymir saying, 32 dead last night, they saying. A pox on them that's responsible. That Captain Zodge will sort 'em right good. Hope he strings 'em up for all to see. And then you apparently invited yourself to sit.
I was fair. Pox on them all.
Oh, I like this one. She's got metal.
May I join you?
They raise their mugs.
I don't have a mug, but I fist bump in the air as if I had.
Ellen! This one needs a mug, preferably with something to drink in it this time. And they laugh. And actually, the table next to them laughs too. Apparently, something happened earlier because there's a running gag about it.
It must have, and I love it.
Right?
All right, I'll sit down with them.
So they just kind of like sit back and they say, "So, what do you hear? What do you know?"
All I heard is that this has something to do with the damned Cult of Dead 3.
Cult of Dead 3.
Mhm.
Let's see here. You know what? I've got a fun one about that.
I was hoping you would.
I
Give
bet
me
I
more
do.
on that.
Somewhere.
The 32 that she's referencing, is that a number that I recognize as being thrown all over Vernus?
No, that's just like the number that's being reported of people who were killed last night,
Okay.
like by the Cult of the Dead 3 in town.
Okay.
If Louis overhears that, he starts like coughing into his ale a little bit, a little sickened by the amount of people dead.
Yeah, is that an unusual amount, or is that kind of standard?
That there's that many people? No, this is definitely because of the everything that's going on. During the protest, you saw lots of people explaining why this stuff's going on. Captain Dodge told you that, in his opinion, the cult is taking advantage of the fact that they're busy dealing with the refugee crisis.
Right. Okay.
Let's see here, and then so after that, you'll hear one of the other two at the table says something along the lines of, "And did you hear? FNX is dead too." And the woman says, "FNX Zalbor? No way! I heard that he cut a deal trying to smuggle refugees into the city, and Captain Zodge cut him down himself and then hid the body." And then the other one says, "Horse dung. Even Captain Zodge wouldn't risk the wrath of Patriarch Josso. FNX is his go-to guy on the recent trading deal with the Western Heartlands. Practically tripled his profits in the last year single-handed."
That was a lot of really weird names. Do I know anything about any of them?
You definitely would know Captain Zodge.
Yes, of course.
Patriarch Josso is another one of the patriarchs of the city, so the nobleman. FNX is apparently his go-to guy on trading.
Okay.
So apparently he's either dead or missing, because you've just gotten 3 different theories about him possibly being killed by the cultists, or Captain Zodge, or
Or just is missing.
Yep. And actually, at that point in time, Alan shows up with your mug, and he says, "Well, right or wrong, Josso's men have been making some not-so-subtle inquiries, if you take my meeting."
Josso's the patron, right?
Josso is the patriarch that FNX works for.
Okay, yeah.
So you've got...
Josso. I probably spelled all of these. I'll be interested. Yeah, nope. Mm-mm. I also heard patron, not Patreon.
FNX, where'd his last name go?
Just out of clarification, so these people, like,
Zalbor.
Can we hear this from the bar, or is it...
I mean, it's a tavern, and it's not terribly loud, even though there's a lot of people in it, because it's still daytime crowds. So if you're even trying to listen in on conversations, you can probably hear them. Okay. The elf lady has gone silent. There's no music right now. It's just a din of conversation with 3 tables that you're dealing with.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out, because Louis is going to be drinking, but he's going to be drinking extremely slowly, and it is keeping his ears open.
Yep.
So what did who dropped off the drink?
Alan, the bartender / owner,
Okay.
he walked around, gave you your drink, and then he went back to the bar.
Okay.
It's not a video game. I'm not going to drag tokens around for every single second.
You're fine. I wouldn't ask you to.
I need scripted tokens just bouncing around randomly.
Oh God, it'll make us all sick. I think.
Just like older video games. That's what we're looking for here, right?
What was it that Alan said?
He said that Josso's men have been making not so subtle inquiries about where FNX is, because the boss has basically found out that the two guys missing.
Yeah. I would ponder aloud to the table. Well, if he had been murdered and his body hidden, it wouldn't make sense for us to know about it.
And they just kind of look at you weirdly.
It wouldn't. We wouldn't know that it was hidden because it was hidden. You know when you hide things, how they're then hidden?
You mean at which point, like buttering from the back of the bar where Louis is? Yeah, hidden like a secret cult.
You're kind of like
mine's not a secret. Speaking of, you guys ever heard of Cult of Ghosts?
Ymir's just like really confused, looking like, I'm sorry. So you know the bodies? The ghost cult has him?
Wait, what'd you say? I swear to God, you cut out, and I only heard like half of that.
So Ymir looks at you kind of confused.
Okay.
And she's like, so you know the body's hidden? The ghost cult did it?
No.
I'm confused where you're going with this story. And she actually like sets her mug down and like...
It was more an observation on the... God damn it. FNX. FNX?
Sure.
FNX. That one.
FNX.
Wouldn't the rumor be that he was just missing?
Yeah, that's what I was going to follow up with.
I mean, it's. I'm sure it's a rumor. Rumor of missing won't spread too many ears. This is actually Louis. Like, if anyone says like when the rumor, like, watch this. Like, Alan, come over here. What did I heard?
Alan obliges.
Listen, if Josso's men are still going around, I'd heard that really FNX's had been making some inquiries into that bulb-sworn murder cult, and so in order to like prevent a loss of face, Josso had him killed himself, and all this stuff is just, him blowing smoke to cover his own ass.
Alan he laughs uproariously and smacks the bar. Ha! I bet Her Honorship Vanthampur won't be heartbroken to hear about that story at all. I can't wait to make sure her boys hear it. And the name he just threw down is the female patriarch who's basically hoping to take over for the Grand Duke who's been missing since El Tyrell fell. The guy who was in charge of the Flaming Fists.
Yeah.
The lead politician, she's jockeying for his position.
Pray tell, how do you spell that name?
That one is not easy.
None of them have been. I know Patriarch and everything, because that's a word.
Thampur. I miss the days of 3rd edition modules where the names were not so grandiose and easier to remember.
Not quite so random letter generator.
Yeah. I swear there's somebody's entire job at WotC is like, let's see how everybody's going to pronounce this name.
Right. I think they're going to giggle about it at night. They've got drinking games to come up with the most complicated names possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just letters on a board and they throw darts at it when they're drunk.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw it out there for those of you that were eavesdropping. You know that lady's name. Her first name is actually Thalamera, which is Thalamera, much easier.
Thank you.
She's pretty much one of the most ruthless politicians in town. Like when people say she was born in the sewers and she's more vicious than a swarm of rats, she's a self-made politician. She worked her way up from the ground, basically. So she gets looked down on by a lot of her peers, but she's secured sufficient power to be in the contention for taking over the Grand Dukeship if the Grand Duke is gone. Higher than yours.
That would not be tough, considering we're all level 1s as far as I know.
Yeah, we're still squishy level 1s.
Yeah.
I still can get sneezed on and die. Louis will turn to Davari and be like, see, that's... Like, no, if we just said that it was missing, there's no rumor. Now, there's going to be a whole thing. It's absolute bullshit. I don't know any of that crap. Like, he's whispering that to Davari.
Yeah.
Davari just kind of
Which is why being a history professor sucks so bad.
Yes. Get into it.
Yeah. I guess.
Could ask if any of these specific people have personally seen Jasso recently.
Nope.
Okay.
What's upstairs?
Are you asking, or are you asking like
The
in
DM.
character or out of character?
If Davari has been to the Elf Song before, then I'm asking out of character. If she hasn't been here before,
Has Davari? So, have you been to the Elf Song before? I'm letting you guys decide that on your own.
I don't think she has.
Louis definitely has, but he always stays in the common areas. He doesn't.
So Davari is
I
asking.
will say for Louis then, there is another common area upstairs where the gambling happens. Games of chance like dice and cards and all that jazz.
Louis, that's one of Louis. That's not one of Louis' vices. So it's like.
But you'll probably know it's there, having frequented the common rooms. You probably would have gone up and looked, might be like your first time here, even, and was like, "Nope, not my scene," and gone back downstairs. You probably know that it's there at least.
I'm probably a fixture there, so if conversations dried up, I may go up there and see if anyone up there knows anything.
Handing out pamphlets. Oh, you lost your luck. Well, perhaps you'll find it again. And
you don't need luck. It's not about luck. Oh, I wrote the whole thing up. Poor Chester and Chris have an essay that I sent them. It's hey, don't make that face. You asked.
True story.
Okay.
So, are you actually getting up from your table and going upstairs?
After very politely excusing myself when they've moved on to a topic that no longer interests me.
The other things that are probably being talked about throughout the room is mostly a lot of the stuff you've heard outside. Discontent over the flaming fists throughout the city. Lots of that. Some talk about El Turel, that city where all these refugees are coming from. Some people are saying, one's like, he bets his last copper pieces that those refugees are advanced scouts for an army that's coming to attack us next. Some are saying, El Turel fell where? To who? That city will outlive us all. The Guardian will see to that.
What's the Guardian?
I don't know. Do you? I mean, I know, but do you?
Do I?
You have to roll. Have you ever been to El Turel?
I don't know what's El Turel.
How big is El Turel? Because the one about the army interested me
It's the
too.
closest large city. It's actually the capital city of the neighboring nation of El Turel.
So it is like Baldur's Gate, it's not ridiculous that Baldur's Gate would be attacked by these people.
Metropolis compared to Baldur's Gate's Gotham in levels of like crime and dismal hope.
Okay. Yeah, at which point it's like Strauss might actually mutter, "Why would they invade us? We'd be way more likely to invade them."
So, being that you're a history professor, I'll also let you know, Strauss, in the past when Baldur's Gate gets a little too power grabby or starts raising prices too much on trade goods, it's usually El Turel that slaps them on the hand.
Okay.
Because that's their closest neighbor of consequence. So it's kind of like, hey, we send someone over to be like, get your shit in line, or we'll get it in line for you, or type of situation. Okay. And that goes both ways with both cities.
Would I be aware? Have the tariffs gone up lately? Like, have we kind of got into that situation again, or is it just kind of?
No. Whatever happened to El Turel was very sudden, and no one really knows for sure yet because rumors are all over the place.
Okay.
Some people were even saying that they hope that all these refugees is actually the Hell Riders, which is the equivalent of the Flaming Fist in El Turel. They're an order of paladins, basically, that are church run as opposed to a mercenary guild.
And they're called the
They-
Hell Riders?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
Which church?
there's reasons for that actually pertain to the module. But
Which church?
some of the rumors that you've heard on the street and probably even in this room are that some people are hoping that the Hell Riders are coming to kick the Flaming Fists out because they think that'll clean the city up.
One chain for another.
Right or wrong, this is just what people are saying and believing.
Okay.
Okay, so Lolo, you said you were going upstairs?
Yeah. I'll figure out if I've been to that city or not later when I decide how widespread I want my cult to be.
Okay.
Maybe we were trying to open a branch, like a local chapter there or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Louis gonna sit down next to Decimus and be like, "You got any ideas? We're just gonna wait here."
You did that for me. Thank you, Shanna.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what they turn up. I'm just here to drink. You want something?
I already have mine.
For a while, aren't we?
You're what?
Yeah,
We're
that's
for a
good for
while.
you.
We're meeting late at night, or at least that night. And
It's probably like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
great.
I mean,
But-
she's a sailor. It's gonna be like she moors and then she goes.
I guess I'll go upstairs too.
Very well. Let's see where's
See
on.
what this.
Join me.
There's a cleared spot on the map off to the right. If you want to drag yourself over, you may. Or I can grab you if you don't. Either or is fine. Shane already moved across, so I was like, oh, okay, very well.
I'm zoomed out so I can see both of the things
Yeah.
for the stream.
Yeah, for pre-made maps, made life pretty easy.
What time is Tarina supposed to be here?
Captain Zaj just said that she'd be there tomorrow evening, but, he didn't give you an exact time.
So we're at least here for dinner.
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
Think
So, Chester?
Yes. Sorry, Milo. I didn't see your hand.
Anyways, do we have a timeline for the Flaming Fist to figure out how long they've actually been apart? Because it seems like some people like them, some people don't. I'm just trying to figure out if they've been here long enough to do good as well as do harm.
Oh yeah,
in
the
this place.
Flaming Fist has been in part of Boulder's Gate probably for over a millennia. I don't know the exact years off my head, but they are very rooted in the history of Boulder's Gate, both locally and abroad. There's actually a large contingent of them down in Chult that are based out of here. Like they are representing Boulder's Gates in other continents. So basically, like the India Trading Company, almost. You could almost look at them, kind of, because they're all over the globe, exerting influence for the city of Boulder's Gate. It's their army abroad and their internal police force.
Okay. I also was going to say Milo actually works here part-time because they come to get a drink all the time, but they end up helping other people out and then start busting tables.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to be doing the whole time we're waiting.
Okay, that's fine. Bus tables, Alan certainly won't stop you.
Davari's going to remain in the lower section of this particular area,
Okay.
kind of keeping an eye out to see if this guy leaves the fireplace to
Okay.
take over the fireplace for drinking and having food later while she kind of listens and waits.
Gotcha.
Strauss is going to start talking to Clank and giving testing out his next history lecture at Clank.
That's actually going to work really well for you because Clank will impassively listen to whatever you're going to say.
Poor Clank.
Right?
First run on a lecture. Ouch.
You've got like the perfect audience.
Yeah, so as soon as Decimus starts asking for food, I bring you a menu.
Okay.
All right, Decimus will look surprised. Do you want something? All right.
They don't want me to eat when I'm working.
I don't care. I'm a customer. I'm right. Come on, eat.
No, thank you.
All right, I'll feed you. Yeah, I just ordered lunch.
So I'm gonna go ahead and skip upstairs to where it looks like we have Lolo and someone who's red.
Odd.
Odd, cool. I'm gonna add names to these later. It's gonna be a good time. Lolo and Odd upstairs. You find the gambling hall. At the tables, there are games of a very popular game called Bones being played at both tables. There are multiple people up here playing. So Bones is Boulder's Bones is actually the name of the game. It's a popular dice game in taverns. Each player requires several six-sided dice, and that's how they're played.
Water?
If you actually have played,
Water, not food.
I've got rules if you want to join in on the game too, or you can observe, or you can interact with the people who are playing. But this is basically the gambling area.
Well, since I've been here a lot, I've probably played, so I will go and see where there's an open seat and join in.
There are seats at both tables.
There's less people on this one. And he has a cool hat, so I'm going to go sit right next to him.
Sure.
At least that looks like a hat.
Yep.
A little...
I think so. Yeah. These pictures are not well chosen.
No?
Explain why.
Guy in a cool hat?
I'll explain why later. So the person with the hat is actually a lightfoot halfling with a huge scar,
Okay.
and she is very dour-faced and is rolling a coin along her offhand, like, you know, knuckling the coin along the outside of
Yes.
her fingers, while rolling dice with her other hand for the game of Bones. And across from her is a human who has a small book kind of off to the side where he's clearly been scribbling thoughts. He's got ink stains on his hands. Clearly, he does a lot of time scribing and writing in this book.
Okay.
And the two of them, like, neither of them really even seem to be paying over much attention to the game they're playing. Like, they're almost on autopilot. Like, you know, they shuffle in their ante, they roll their dice, they pick it up. Neither one of them actually look overly invested. The game behind you at the larger table, or the one with more people, there's a lot more tension at that table. These two are like the friendly game of Bones, and the serious game is like the other table.
This is casual, competitive over here.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
In that case, then, I'll ask Odd which table do you want?
I doesn't
Drunken
care.
friends, sunglasses, and seriousness.
It's like, why do you want to talk to them about something? Because I have a feeling you're probably not going to get too much from these people.
Unless it's coined.
So at the
Can you win?
at the competitive table, there is a half orc. He has laughed at least once upon winning since you've come up with probably one of the loudest bellowing laughs you've ever heard a half orc make. There is a priest. She has a symbol, if you want to roll religion, you can, to recognize, but her holy symbol's sitting on the table next to her. Her coin pile's on the other side, so it's not like she's gambling that, but she set it down on the table beside each other.
I got 14.
Yeah, you recognize the symbol of Savras. That is the god of divination and fate.
Okay.
And then there is another halfling at this table who has a very colorful cake, like a quilt almost of little patches of every color that you can possibly identify, and quite a few you probably can't identify. And that halfling smells very pungent. Not like body odor pungent, but like herbal pungent.
Where is this person at?
Let's see here. That one is...
And none of these tokens correspond.
Oh, yeah. The tokens don't, because actually that one's not even at the table when she should be.
Oh, weird. See?
This one here that I just moved,
Okay.
that's the pungent one.
Oh, Good thing we're on this side.
Yeah.
That's an awful title to have received.
You know what? I'm going to put it on your side so it explains why you smelled it. How's that sound?
You flew to the other side of the room. Say that shit. All right.
He smells like weed. Okay, that's it. It's
To clarify, he's a hippie. Got it.
she.
She. Damn it. Is that? Okay, I'm not going to try and identify via the tokens.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't.
What's that? Who's that person there?
Are you
I can't tell by their tokens.
Yeah.
That is the priest.
That's the priest? Oh, so he's at this table too, technically?
Yep. Yeah.
So there's 5 people.
Okay. He looked like he was lounging on that couch.
Yeah, that's I thought I was just checking it out, just watching.
She's in the game, and it doesn't look like her at all in that picture. I don't understand what's going on with these token choices.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll just keep clarifying. I have a out of character question. If I wanted to, I don't know, cheat in a game, how would that go here? And what would be?
Are you proficient in a gaming set?
I thought I was proficient in dice, but I don't see it in my Roll20 page. So let me look at my D&D real quick. I may not be. I don't know. I should have been. I'm pretty sure I took it.
It should be a tool set for you, but it might.
Yeah, it's
So
not,
if I copied it over, it would have been on the bottom left, which, yeah, you don't have any tools.
yeah.
Unless your background came with it, I don't think sorcerers...
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, yeah, we'll go with no. I don't have proficiency.
Okay.
So,
it would probably be given that it's dice, if you don't have a trick dice, it's probably just a straight dex check.
okay.
If you want to try and cheat, but keep in mind that is the uber competitive table.
Yeah, no, that's another reason I'm asking. I won't bother with that then. I will settle up to this table and
Why couldn't it be like, poker or something like that? Jeez, we're a couple mind mages. We're not.
I know, that's kind of why I was really hoping, like, can I just
Can't
get
cheat
there?
this. I came up here to cheat.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just join the casual table and
Okay.
listen into the other one in case they say anything of interest. But I'll just sit here. Which one was the one who was writing?
One on the bottom.
Okay, then I will sit next to them
Okay.
and just be like, mind if I join you? Or if Odd's joining that table, so I'll say, mind if we join you?
Sure. And he kind of looks up at as he was rolling, kind of realized you were there. I mean, the dice roll, so they roll,
Okay.
Yeah, let's take these people's money.
right?
People that-
Okay.
and he looks back to the dice and sees where they land, and he won that ante, so he goes ahead and he pulls over. He's like, thanks for that startlement. Hello, I am Warwick Withman, famous playwright. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Can you give me the name again? Elwaric?
Oloric.
Oloric.
Oloric. He spells it for you.
Yeah, I definitely heard Warwick.
Oloric. Yeah, right. Or I was thinking Yorick because my brain went playwright immediately.
Yeah.
Can I try and make a guess, like an insight or something, to determine if I can tell what kind of playwright he might be? Obviously a pretentious one, but I mean, you can sometimes tell if they're drama or if they're romance or...
Do an insight check and a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah,
Insight and... Oh, perception's up. No.
So
Not my good
I will say that you think that you definitely pick up on the fact that he thinks he's more important than he is.
Oh, of course. He brought it up the first sentence. He thinks he's hot shit. That's obvious.
He does think he's hot shit.
Louis had wandered up there. If
Yeah.
the name Aloric, would he Louis gonna interject it anyways, mock him, but
So, Louis, given that you went with the orator background, for your
I'm gonna.
You probably actually went to an open audition once for one of his plays, and his writing is horrible. His plays have yet to actually make it to stage, and you probably left. But he's a failed playwright.
Okay.
Is that an experience Louis might have ranted about?
That's up to Louis.
Well, no, he
know,
probably would have. He probably would have actually dissected to Lolo everything wrong with this prose.
Then yay!
Like while he was preparing for like he just like one of his students came in with the audition, so he figured for a lark he'd go do it, and then he was like, "This is the worst thing he's ever read in his life." But he is going to go up to Aloric and be like, "Oh, you're Aloric Whitman, aren't you?"
And he kind of looks. Of course I am. I'm Aloric Whitman. I am important. People know me far and wide. And the halfling across the table snorts and says, "More wide than anything, I would say."
I caught one of your plays once. It was absolute garbage.
Aloric was about to be like, and then you said that when you hit the word garbage, he's like, "Oh, well, I never." And he like
Ever found a dangling participle you didn't like? Yes, I'm very aware.
And he like slams the table and like stands himself up. "I don't have to take this treatment." And he reaches over and like scoops his coins like onto the cover of his book and like holds it like super close with the pile of coins on it. He says, "I'm leaving." And Ulrich just like leaves and goes downstairs.
I'm playing the absolute worst character for what I just had in mind, so I'll leave it. I was like, can I like trip him, but if he catches me, make it look like I'm trying to hold him back to class, so if he drops some coin, I can
I'll bring his movement back here. Yeah, you can do an athletics check.
No, I'm not. I took it back because that's not going to happen.
And Louis is going to actually follow Aloric and like try to. He's going to offer a critique, but really he's just going to be critiquing everything wrong with the play and just following him out of the.
Well, you
So,
come and
if you
tell
follow him down the
me the
stairs,
critique,
he's going
and
to keep
I will
going
just.
through
You don't have to leave. I'll just tell him the critique as you're saying it to him.
Yeah. He's literally gonna. If you keep following him, he's gonna let you chase him out of the establishment.
I follow him to about to clank and then sit down.
Yeah.
Back.
He leaves. He's done. He's not having it.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for him.
He does not have to take this.
He does not. He's
So-
important. People know him.
The halfling upstairs that is still at that table now looks at Lolo like, "You just stole my gambling partner. I hope you plan on throwing some dice."
That wasn't me. That was grumpy old guy. But yeah, I'd love to play.
Yeah, you would. And he gestures for you to sit down. See if I can
No,
find-
Terry, Scott feels bad. Louis has no idea what he just did.
Let's see if I can find the games or if I actually have to.
Getting serious, actual grandparent vibes from Louis. Very specific side of the family on that one. Let me give you a critique. No, wait, where are you going?
Yeah.
Come back.
I'm being helpful.
I want to explain why your prose is garbage. Wait.
I was really hoping that they would be on here and they're not. Okay, so the way the game of bones works, each player puts an agreed upon ante in the pot. Each player rolls 3 dice. Play then proceeds clockwise around the table with the host of the game going last. On your turn, you can choose to stand or roll. If the player stands, the next player can take a turn. A player who rolls takes an additional dice, so that would be the 4th die, and rolls it. If the total exceeds 21, you bust. So it's kind of like blackjack, but with
Blackjack, roll a dice.
otherwise you keep rolling additional dice until you either stand or you break. Once everyone has had a turn, the highest point total, excluding a player that doesn't bust, wins and gets the pot. So you start with 3 dice automatically, 18 being the highest you can possibly get,
Right.
and you decide to stand with that or to hit and roll again, one extra d6, and you keep rolling d6s until you either are happy or you bust.
Okay. Sure. How much to ante up in the pot? Or to start?
The halfling kind of looks you up and down and says,
I look ragged.
"I'll allow you to make the opening bid."
So I'm as Shayna, I want to put in 1 copper. I don't know what would be reasonable in this situation.
Well, what were they playing with to begin with?
Yeah, what were they
I
playing
mean,
with?
there were copper and silver on that table. It was the casual table, so
Okay.
This side is playing for gold and platinum.
they're playing for more than gold. I mean, if you want to take a look and see what's in their pot at some point, I can break that down for you. But there's more than gold going over there.
Oh, that
Okay.
that interest is Scott, but Louis is no longer there, so he can't get interested in that.
Is that something that we know Louis would be interested in, though?
No, Louis,
Damn. Okay.
generally speaking, not actually interested in money. The
Oh,
only
okay,
time
sorry.
you've seen him do money is when he's trying to get donations for his school.
Well, that's what I mean. Is if that was something.
Can I get these people to donate? It's like,
Yeah.
maybe I could attach myself to their mind and just
You
whisper
want to
that
donate.
if you want luck, you need to donate.
Okay, I'll put in 2 copper.
Okay.
Ooh,
I
big-
have a cheap piece of garbage.
And the halfling just kind of shrugs and he goes ahead and slides 2 copper forward, and he hands you the dice cup because he's host, so that means he doesn't get to go first.
Right. Is Odd joining?
Odd is watching, and Odd is paying attention to.
Odd can't afford to gamble. Okay.
This
Odd has
may-
money.
this may be
Odd
my
just
only
doesn't-
hand.
Do like gambling that she knows that there's a chance that she won't win.
So you are rolling 3d6.
13?
Okay. And then I go. And now you have the option of standing or hitting.
Hit. So I have 19?
You do. And obviously, the halfling is going to hit as well at 15.
15.
So it's you to stand or hit or not.
I stand.
The halfling obviously is not able to win unless he risks it, so. Oh, things are getting interesting.
I'm gonna lose because this is a chance game, and we've learned how
17.
that goes for me.
Are you hitting or standing?
I'm already standing. I'm at 19.
Okay, I'm at 17, so he's actually gonna risk it all.
20.
I say.
And
What
like
else?
literally, like he just looks like, like he gives out a little halfling giggle, and he looks at you and he says, "Hitting or standing?" Because now he's technically winning.
Oh, so this is actually a little different. Then I get to continue trying. I'll try then because why not? I'm gonna lose either way.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he just goes, he grabs the 2 copper.
I was gonna say I'll flick him over there.
He grabs those 2 copper and just like pulls it in like he has like a huge pot of coins.
Hey, it's about winning and just feeling good for a minute, not the money you get.
He's like, absolutely. And he slides 3 copper forward as he continues rolling that gold coin along his fingers.
I'll play one more round, but while I do, I want to try and chat. I'm not good at this. Okay, there we go. 10 this time.
And what are you trying to chat about?
Well, do I know? Is since I'm here regularly, is this someone that I would recognize?
The halfling?
Yes.
If you come up here gambling, he's definitely been up here before.
Alright. I'll say something like, "How you been?"
Oh, you know, down on my luck lately. I'm unable to afford the big boy table today, sadly, and there's some very fun things going on over there. And he kind of looks over your shoulder.
It's like I'll make a show of like leaning back and looking over and say like, "Interesting pot." And then if you want to tell me what I do or don't see, or let him do the
Sure.
commentary.
So in their pot, there are the expected silver coins because it's the big boy table, some gold coins. There's actually a few platinum coins in there, and most interestingly of all is a snow globe. And inside the snow globe is a small city with a gold sphere suspended above it, like probably dripped down from the glass above because it floats above it.
Yeah.
And there's like a little placard on the front so that you could see what it is. It looks like someone would have like a New York City snow globe type thing, but not
Yeah.
New York City. And the weird golden globe thing is odd, but it's interesting looking. and this is in the pot. You'd actually have to get closer to see what it is, or give me a knowledge. You know what? I don't even know if there's an applicable knowledge for geography or something like that.
It's history.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowledge history. I would take knowledge history if you wanted to roll on that as well.
18.
Okay, so especially given that it's a topic that people are talking a lot about lately, the city that you see depicted in the snow globe is El Turel.
Oh. So, out of character. Is the snow globe particularly interesting because that's not a common knickknack? Like, is that not a tchotchke that you get traveling, or?
It's probably more likely because it's now going to be limited edition because El Turel is gone.
Yeah, okay.
It's a collector's item.
Yeah, like, you know, someone who's like, you know, I lost my home and what do I have to remember it by? Would probably be very interested in something like this that has this awesome part of the city.
It's like
You
an Alderon ornament or something.
Right. So, you know, there's going to be a market for stuff like this.
A brutal one that.
And, you know, whatever. It's a gambling hall.
Yeah,
Someone threw it down.
Right? All right, so I'll hit, and while I do, I'll ask, whose snow globe is that?
All right, so that puts you at 14 now?
Yes. You're at 9.
I'm at what?
9.
I'm at 9?
You're at 9.
Okay. So what was your question? Sorry.
Who put the snow globe in the pot?
The woman did, and the token doesn't match. But
Is that the cleric?
the token that looks like a dwarf dude?
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a woman.
A woman, did you give...
Is it a dwarf woman? Because in the token, right.
Then she would have a beard. Okay. Is it... But the cleric was the one at the top of the table, so...
Correct.
Did you give anything else about her?
Nope.
Okay. Just making sure I didn't miss it.
Yep. She was just a human woman.
Okay.
So your companion here he's obviously hitting, so that puts him at 14.
So we're tied.
Ooh.
I'll point at the dice and point him and go, twinsies.
And
So-
Halfling like does one of those like shakes of the chair to get it closer to the table.
Oh yeah, that scoot up.
Yeah, like he can't reach the ground, but you know he's doing that to scoot up, and he's like, "You're way better than that other guy was."
It's the short person scoot. I do that all the time.
Yep.
So, there isn't really a smooth way to ask. Like, is she from there? And roll my next dice. So I'm at 19.
You're at 19. He
So-
goes ahead and he rolls. Oh, not so good. And he says, "Are you kidding? She's been running this place like a shark lately, cleaning out everyone that comes across her path."
Huh. Well, gesture to the dice because I'll pass. And I guess I wouldn't recognize her then. Well, I mean, I would know if she was around lately, but basically, I'm wondering if she's from there.
Unless you would have exchanged pleasantries or sat at the big boy table.
Probably not. I'm poor.
Yeah, you probably have not interacted with her.
Not interactive, but recognizing face.
Oh, sure. She's been running this place like a shark for the past week or two.
Okay, but I hadn't seen her before then. Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with her since I can't exactly afford that table myself. What are you at now?
20.
God,
You know, like, he literally does like the Dr. Evil.
you can't even let me win a dice game in a game. We're inceptioning my inability to roll dice.
Well, the game's not over yet, darling.
You can still win, however small the chance. Where's it at now?
22. I lose.
22.
It was so close.
It
And
wasn't-
does like a little happy kid shrug and you know, throws out the hands and brings back the 4 copper pieces like it's a big pot.
Yeah. What's it for?
What?
Total would have been 6 because it was 3
Yeah,
copper pieces.
He
each.
bumped it up to 3.
Oh,
I
got
know
it.
because I'm keeping track because I'm cheap and I've lost 5 copper now.
There you go.
So I'm keeping track too. Thank you, Scott.
Just like taking mental note, and
Oh yeah.
God's like, "Why are you doing this? If you're going to, she's a copper pincher."
Oh yeah. I'll shrug because
From the big boy table, you actually see The pungent one actually does get up and walk over to the couch and sits down, taking a break from their game over there.
Okay.
Do they look upset? Are they losing?
I think she's sitting out a losing streak at the moment.
If I can subtly look at her and look at Odd and nod and question, like, do you want to go talk to her? Because then you can go talk to her without spending money. If it's not something you would do and I would know that, then I can excuse myself and go do that. But also, I don't want everyone to have to sit through just me role playing for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's bad. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't by herself. I really doesn't care what's going on.
You know what?
Fair.
He actually probably gets the inspiration to come up and join the little kids table. She passes Odd
Okay.
on the way over and takes a seat at the
Double spend.
the grid doesn't line up nicely. She's sitting at that table with you guys now, and she throws down a silver piece.
I actually will.
I look right at Lolo. I'm like,
Yeah, with that gasp, I'll go a little rich for my blood, but I'll stay and watch if you don't mind.
The halfling actually looks at you curiously, and he says, "I'll stake her." And he shifts two silver pieces forward, one for him and one for you.
Oh, new best friend.
And how about you? And he points at Odd.
I'm gonna do the little kid scoot into my chair a little closer to the halfling at that. Make room for Odd next to me.
I want to ask a question out of character about our powers to be able to communicate telepathically. How far does that go? Can I just hear people's thoughts if I just attach and just not talk to them? If they're just
I think it's just speaking.
Yeah, if they're speaking to themselves, I mean, that's how thoughts
do that internal narration. That's what you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Oh shit, it's 6,
What's the ability you have?
Aberrant mind, I think. Is that the one you're talking about?
Invasive thoughts.
Oh, invasive thoughts.
Here.
There you go.
Because it doesn't really.
Let's see here.
Link.
Yeah, it's just basically giving you an extra language. It's not giving you detect thoughts.
Right. So they actually have to be trying. They have to be intentionally trying to converse with you for that.
You can transmit without them without them being able to stop you, but you can't receive from them unless they want you to.
Right.
Is usually how telepathy works.
They would speak to you like they were understanding you, not really probably understanding it's in their head. And even though you're hearing their language, you're understanding what they're actually saying because their thoughts are focused on communicating.
What you thinking?
I don't know. Trying to figure out what to do.
Well, he's paying for you to join in.
Yeah. The pungent one kind of looks at you expectantly he's offering to front you to enter the game.
Oh my god, it's may as well.
Odd will sigh, sit down, and just start okay.
So will I be starting?
Yep, because it goes clockwise.
Okay.
At some point, I think Louis would turn to Devara and be like, "Hey, Devara, last time I was up there, I chased somebody out of the bar accidentally. Can you make sure our cultist friends aren't doing anything stupid?"
Too late.
All right, so long as you order the next round of ale and some lunch, because we might be here a while.
Okay, Louis orders another round for Devari himself, and actually for Lolo and Odd. And Milo's, he probably orders it for Milo, and then Decimus.
Yeah, your drinks. Take some.
All right. So I come up, I see them, and I will come over and sit down at the table.
At which point, the halfling that's been fronting everyone just kind of says, "It's a silver piece buy-in."
Roger that. She doesn't say Roger. Don't you dare bite. Nope, don't bite my toes.
So
She does say that, though. She looks randomly at an empty space on the ground and says, "Don't bite my
Don't bite my toes." We're like, ooh,
Everyone kind of looks like, what?
what's down there?
Yeah, I'll put a silver piece down to figure out what my compatriots are doing.
Losing money.
So you got in just before the game kicked off then.
Okay.
The first roll was by Lolo. The next one up is Odd. I guess I need to keep track on this, huh?
I could for you if you want me to.
So we have Lolo has a
11. Odd has an 11. And Davari just rolled a 12.
Look at her jump in order. Okay,
All right.
the pungent one that smells like weed is before you.
The pungent one.
All right, so that's Willow. And then, Davar, you had what?
12.
Yep, 12.
And then I need to do the host, who has an 8. All right, so first up for decisions is Lolo. It is 11, 11, 8, 12, and 8.
Yeah. Oh, of course I'm rolling. But as I do, look at the halfling and I guess inquire how it's been going at the big boys table or the big kids table.
The weed smelling halfling, because there's 2 halflings at the table right
Oh
now.
yeah, right. The pot halfling.
The pungent one.
The pungent one.
The pothead.
I have a 15 now, by the way.
Okay. He says, well, I'm at the not so big boy table now, so clearly it wasn't going well.
You may have wanted to take a break if you were tired of getting
She's like, that bitch is fucking impossibly lucky.
Do you think actually impossibly?
And she just,
hinting about cheating.
I mean, the Savrassian priest is lucky, but not that lucky, and I think that she would kind of pick up on something like that.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
So that brings us to Odd's turn.
Yep, I'll roll.
So that puts you in also. And that is for my.
I know, I'm now interested in trying to figure out if she's cheating.
Right?
So,
From my vantage point, can I make a perception check to see if I could?
Or maybe while you were just standing there while we were playing.
yeah, you'd probably have to actually go over there and make a good study of the game. That wouldn't be just like a quick look over your shoulders type situation. Which, I mean, you could leave your game and do, but, you know, you'd be forfeiting your silver piece at this point, or...
No, you're increasing our odds of winning it and making back the money we lost. Just hold on till the round.
The money you lost. I'm playing for free right now.
You didn't stop me.
Yep. So that brings us to Davari.
I thought the cheesy one went first before me.
Yeah,
I rolled it while he was talking about doing the perception over the shoulder. Sorry.
Okay.
They are at 12 now also, which is the same as Davari.
All right. All right, so that brings me to 16.
Yep. That puts you in the lead right now. And the host. Ooh. Is at 8 plus 5. That is 13. All right. So, Lolo, you're up with. So it currently stands at 15, 15, 12, 16, and 13.
Okay. Of course, gonna roll and I'll ask, what do you think she's playing so hard for?
And then, Odd, you can roll while I'm answering. The pungent one says that I don't know, but she takes home a crap ton of coins every day, and that snow globe has been bringing in like all sorts of gamblers from all across the city because that thing is like the hottest commodity right now. So that gives Odd a 2. So you're at 19, Odd is at 17. Then I need to do the pungent one, who's been answering questions. Ooh, is now at 16.
This, by the way, is what happens when I play blackjack, is I get 19 every time, and someone gets a 20, and then I bust. Or they get a 20 every time.
I know, I'm glad I rolled low on that one. I'm glad I rolled.
And Davari, you're up.
Okay, so what did that bring the cheesy one up to?
Current standings are 19, 17, 16. You're 16, and the host is at 13.
All right. That
You're
brings you to 20.
Yep. All right. So next up is the host. If you have any questions that you want to throw out, like on your turn, like as we're going around Davari, you can totally do that or not. If you just want to-
Tamari's kind of getting a feel for what her companions have been up to right now, so no questions just yet.
We're not getting into too much trouble.
Yeah, we're just kind of.
No, Louis is about to do that.
Oh my gosh. Cool. That's fun. All right. The host just threw that down and is now at 17. So right now, the standings at the little boys table is 19, 17, 16, 20, and 17.
Why do you do this to me? Always.
Well, Davari is currently winning unless you beat her 20.
Well, I'll beat the 20, but I'll beat it by like 5. So let's do this anyway.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. You just got the perfect score there, 21.
Yeah, but someone else will get it, and then what happens?
Maybe.
Push.
Like the halfling next to you that fronted your silver coin was like, son of a nothing. And like it's like he didn't say that word. Right? So that brings us to Odd, who got a 5. You busted.
Just one too many.
Right?
If you want to go and observe the other table now that
Yes.
we're there.
I'll turn and then I'll notice. I'm not sitting down at the table, but I do notice Strauss. Is he sitting down at the table?
Oh yeah, he dropped down and just sat there and is watching your guys' game.
Yep. And I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm just gonna wrap up.
I'm assuming playing the doddering Earth Man.
But yeah, I am like
What are you youngins
paying
doing?
attention.
Yep. I'm gonna wrap up this round over here, and then we'll get to what happens when Scott sat down.
Okay.
All right. So that brings us to Davari at 20. Right now, Lolo's winning with 21. Do you want to stand and let her win, or do you want to still try and push for a victory?
I'll still try.
That's the spirit.
Either way, I'll
Yeah.
either bust
You do.
or I'll win.
Yep.
And I bust.
Oh, and you busted. So that brings us to the host, who has the last chance to win. And 18, no, only pulled out a 19. So the pot goes to Lolo.
And I'll cheer and hoping to be contagious enough he'll be excited with me, reach over to high five him.
So because he fronted you and everything, he's kind of gets over his, well, I've got an eye for talent, I guess, and he goes in for the high five.
You sure do.
And
You,
the
sir.
punky looking one just says, God damn it, you're as bad as that bitch over there. And then she's like, and she like kind of like looks down like, I hope nobody heard that.
Did I hear it?
I heard that, sweetie. You shouldn't say that about your.
So over at the big boy table, Strauss, immediately to your right, so looking at the table immediately to your right,
Yep.
is a human woman.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond her is the priestess of Savras, which if you want to roll for religion to recognize that symbol, you can. All you have to use B to 10 because it's a pretty popular religion in this city.
Second.
Sure.
Religion.
Yes. Yep, so you recognize that is a priestess of Savras. Savras is the goddess of divination and fate in Faerun. Let's see, actually with yours, I'll even say that you've probably seen her in this establishment before. She has actually probably engaged you in conversation down below once on the topic of astrology, because she teaches astrology at her church, and she also loves to gamble. And then let's see, working the way around. So going counterclockwise, on the far side of the table is a human commoner who has no eyebrows. And at the bottom of the table is the half-orc with the huge boisterous laugh.
Strauss is first going to look at the half-orc. Oh, you're a big one, aren't you, son? Okay. Oh, no, he's a woman, right? No. Was the
half-orc?
Yeah.
The half-orc was a male.
Okay. Oh, you're a big one, aren't you? Aren't you, son?
He just kind
Don't
of-
mind me. I'm just.
and like claps you hard enough on your shoulders to move your frail frame intentionally.
Oh.
And the woman on the other side of you kind of like leans forward and looks at the half orc and says, "Are you vouching for this one?"
Vouching? No, I'm just waiting on my caretakers. They're over there. They're having some fun.
And
Hey,
she-
what's this thing? And I reach for the snow globe.
If I hear that, I'll
And
believe
she next thing you know, roll a dexterity check.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not great at this.
That's why I wasn't doing any of that. I was hoping
3.
an athletic person would come to it.
Almost faster than you can believe possible, there is a dagger out positioned between your hand and the snow globe to the point where like the point is right in the palm of your hand. Like she's holding it like out away from her, just like between you and the snow globe type situation.
Yeah.
And, like your hand like nicks the point of that dagger.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was a personal object. Touchy folk. Really, I just want to observe, make sure that everything's on the up and up. I won't disturb your game.
So
that table's full over there, and I don't want to.
she interrupts you. She says, "There's 2 couches. If you want to gamble, throw down your coins or get up."
The couch is just a little too soft for my back. You see, I took a
Coins
tumbles
or
earlier.
up?
Fine. And I throw like 2 gold on the table.
And she kind of looks at it, cracks her neck, looks at the half orc again, and she says, "Are you vouching for this one? Because if he runs, it's on you." And the half orc that clapped you on the shoulder says, "Sure, why not?" And like he claps you on the shoulders again, and he actually reaches forward and puts 3 gold coin on top of your 2.
No. I got this, son. Don't worry about it. I pushed the 3 coins and put 3 more coins on the table.
Hi.
Okay.
Most expensive seat I've ever had to buy.
You didn't have to.
Orc just laughs. He's like, "Welcome to the big boy tables."
For the Arcana check, by the way.
Okay, sorry. So you rolled a 16 on the Arcana check.
Yep.
Did you roll a history check earlier to see if you would recognize the city inside of it?
I did not. Do you want me to?
If you would like to know that, yes, it's somewhat pertinent.
Nope, I don't think so.
And I have a 12
Okay.
on it.
But you're like standing behind that table now, right? Are you still at the other table?
No, I'm standing behind that table.
Okay.
I'm over here-ish.
So, okay, if you moved over there and you're standing so that you could see, you can actually read the placard does say El Tiriel on the bottom. Your Arcana check, I will say you've probably heard of the gold sphere that's at the top, which also is iconic for El Tiriel. The story went that the city was once ruled by a despotic vampire who, when he was overthrown, whoever was responsible for overthrowing this vampire got rid of the infestation by installing this magic sphere of like basically permanent daylight above the city of El Tiriel.
Okay.
And they referred to that as the Guardian. So that's what the little gold ball up there represents inside the snow globe.
Okay. So it's representation of the city.
Yes.
Does it seem magical at all?
Do you have a method of discerning magic?
Only just general sense that a magic user would have. I don't have any like
You don't see any glyphs or runes or anything of that immediately apparent nature.
all right, thank you.
Okay. So going around the table, the 5 gold coins are kind of tossed in. And since they're attracting a crowd now of people who want to watch, there's still an empty seat if anybody else wants to throw down.
No, I'm going to see if there's cheating.
You're going to be running insight checks on everyone, eh?
Insight checks, perception checks.
Gotcha.
Whatever rolls higher.
Yeah, whatever I have to do. My insight is terrible. And so is my perception.
How's your
So it's okay. It's at
Investigation
0. It's just a
there.
straight roll.
sleight of hand?
I do want to clarify. So it is dice, right? Like it is. We are actually playing dice.
Yes.
It's not cards or anything, right? Okay.
Correct. Nope, it's dice. So to kind of speed this up, since there's only Scott that would be roll, unless you want to play it through a full round, Scott.
Well, no. The first thing that Strauss is going to do is he's going to, with the empty seat in front of him, he's going to make a show of throwing the dice too hard, so at least one of them ends up on the floor, and then he's going to be like, "I got it," and then he's going to crawl under the table, and then just like hit something because he's clumsy and like it makes sense, and then stand up while he's under the to try to flip the table.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
Roll an athletics check, or while you're under the table to
How
see
buff is this old man?
if your work friend can help you with that or not. And by that I mean preventing you from flipping the table.
Man. You just bring your own back under the table. I threw out my shoulder.
Wow, you guys are
Active player wins.
So yeah, the half orc actually tried to like push down the table as it was like coming up when you stood because he saw it coming, but you stood up so abruptly that the other end of the table kept going. So now everything that's on the table is sliding towards the half orc.
Can I catch the snow globe?
If you can beat Tarina, yes.
All right. It's
I'll be
a,
right back.
Beat a person, yes.
for what kind of check?
I'll either dexterity check or an athletics check, whichever one's better for you.
Oh, for a time check.
This is going to be bad.
Can I prepare calm emotions as a spell really quick before this starts?
Prepare it. Preparing takes time.
Yep, this is bad. Yep.
Yep. You swipe for it, but the woman is much faster than you, and she catches that snow globe. She lets all the platinum and the gold and the silver, well, yeah, all the money that was on the table just sliding towards the half orc at the bottom.
Damn it. Should have done something else. I do.
Not for the gold. The platinum.
I should have just used dissonant whispers on her before taking it.
So at this point, everyone kind of stands up and they're like, "What the hell?" You know, they're upset. The half orc is like trying to right the table and scoop up the coins that are like in his lap and put them on the table, and like,
I will help right the table and help poor, weak Lewis to his feet.
Louis is actually going to he's focusing on gathering as many of the dice as humanly possible.
I mean, there's only 3 dice total, so
Okay, so it's not like. Okay,
No,
so Louis is actually going to grab onto. What's the? Did we get the name of the human that had the snow globe originally? He's going to actually like walk over, like, cause he kind of. Hey, girl, can you just pop my back a little bit and grab her forearm?
This is
she whirls you around and she actually like slams you hard in the back with the snow globe.
Oh.
Right there. I'm trying to get the feel if she has anything up her sleeves. Is actually what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And you took 5 damage from the snow globe.
Okay, that puts me at. That puts me at 3 hit points left.
Oh my
She's
god.
not terribly pleased with you at the moment, so she was not unkind about the option to crack your back for you.
Did I put sleeves?
You definitely feel like there was some weapons in those sleeves.
That probably
What you
added
got
to
in
the
your
moment.
sleeves, girl? You cheating these fine folk?
And her eyes just kind of widen because the other people are looking for the accusation of cheating.
I will
He
get
kinda
into
does
the
this.
orc's head. I'm like, she's cheating you.
She does this, and a dagger like shoots up into her hand. She had,
Look at her. She's getting defensive. I'm talking to the orc in his side of his head. You should stop her.
you would have to roll some
Cheating.
persuasion on that, Mr. Odd. Or sorry, Ms. Odd.
That's fine.
I swear, only.
24?
We won't have to actually fight, will we?
the half orc is like, "What else you got up them sleeves?" and she kind of says, "You know what?" And she sets the snow globe down, and she kind of like snaps her hands like that. A dagger comes out the other side. She sets both on the table, pulls back both sleeves. You can see that there's like a leather vambrace with the mechanical apparatus that quick launches those into her hands, and she does a display of showing.
Strauss. We have a cleric to the fates herself, and she can't win against you. Like, come on, the jig is up, lady.
Jig, and she just like looks smoldering daggers at you. She's like, "I don't know who you are or who you think you are."
My name's Levi.
Yeah, well, Levi, let me just put it this way. I don't have to cheat. I'm just fucking good.
It's dice, lady. Like, let's face it. The only one that has a communion to the world is that one, and points to the cleric. She at least has a direct line to the fates itself. You've been winning a lot, from what I hear.
Gods
But
are
it's none of my business. Ow, that really hurt, by the way. Davari, can you, I don't know, get an old man a drink?
Milo brought you one. It's right next to your. Well, I guess it's on the table now. Why don't you come with me down below? We'll get a drink.
And the priestess actually like puts a hand on the human woman's shoulder, and she's like, "It's okay, Tarina. I know you're not cheating." And they all kind of like start trying to sort out the coins that people had at the table, which they're all being remarkably straightforward about.
Oh, so you're Tarina. Okay. And then I throw my badge on the table. Somebody wants to talk to you with you.
Looks at the badge and looks at you. She's like, "Who's somebody? Because you lost the right to talk to me."
Well, you can talk to me. You can talk to the entire Crimson Fist. I'll be downstairs having a drink.
Crimson Fist.
Or not,
Flaming
Fist.
Let him have it.
Sorry. 40K.
I'll allow the player error.
Flaming
Fist. Well, the Flaming Fist knows where to find me if they want me. Captain Zaj knows exactly where I am, and he knows what I have for him.
Strauss, why don't you go ahead and get your drink? Miss Tarina, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Strauss sent us.
Not Strauss, no.
Whatever.
Gosh.
Stop.
We all have way too many weird ass names going on.
I know. Too many names. He did send us. He just didn't give your description, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So what exactly did he say when he sent you?
You're going to have to refresh my memory, Chester.
He told you to tell her that the deal was on, basically that he would like the other information that she claims to have.
I will pass it to her.
Okay. She kind of looks at you. She's like, "Well, I do have the information, but here's the thing. I'm expecting guests that would be rather put out if I were to divulge that information. So if you want it, you're welcome to stick around until I've not so delicately informed them that I do what I want, or you can run along and fuck yourselves."
Well, while I do enjoy fucking myself, I do say so myself, I'm quite skilled in that matter. I think I'll go ahead and have a seat on one of these couches and wait for the information for...
Louis going downstairs. Like,
halfling is like, ooh.
Louis going downstairs to go talk to his winged tiefling friend.
Okay. Who vanished on us?
Yeah,
I don't
I
even
think he was having technical issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Davari will kind of try to signal to Lolo to like mentally let Louis and our winged companion know that Tarina's up here.
Okay.
And that we're going to
That I'm waiting.
for the guests. I'll do that. And so I guess I'll just say maybe I'll relay all of that, and so I guess keep an eye out for new people coming in. But I will try and not make it as obvious that Odd and I had anything to do with Louis, because he only referred to Davari. Neither of us interacted with them, so if we could have a less confrontational line of conversation, that may be beneficial later. So I'm
Now,
gonna try and
now I want to convert this half orc to the cult.
It's gonna take some time.
No, why? It's a good cult.
Well, he just lost a lot of face at the table, so he's gonna require some time to re-sweeten up if that's something you're interested.
Okay. Yes, and I will work with Odd on that if you want later. That is, we will enjoy effort that, because I actually like him too. He sounds fun.
So I have Lolo, Odd, and Davari are still kind of hanging out upstairs,
Yes.
but none of you are trying to integrate into the big boy game.
I'm continuing to make small talk and play with the.
Okay, so you're going back to the little boy table.
I
while
never
the
left.
conversation goes
I
on.
stayed there for the whole commotion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it really would depend, considering that I had obviously been somewhat allied with Louis. I don't think I've got a good in on the big boy table.
Did anyone sleight of hand while Louis did that?
None of us have sleight of hand.
Yeah.
No, sure don't.
I would have been doing that
Yeah, he'd have
the
been doing
entire time.
Same. I would have done it if I had it. It's the reason I didn't do that. It's because I don't have shit.
Follow-up questions. Louis, did you take the dice with you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Second follow-up question. When he threw down his badge and started talking, did anyone like even act like they were with him? Or
That's what I'm saying I specifically didn't do.
right.
So Davari did say that she was sent by the captain
Okay.
and passed the information to
Gotcha.
Tarina that the
So
captain had.
someone's still sticking around that was from that in her perception. That's what I was trying to remember.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is also why I'm not trying to get in at the table, because that would be very bad form at this point.
Gotcha. So as time passes a little bit there, maybe like 15 minutes, Tarina actually does make a token effort of probably small talk with you. Being that you know, she's kind of like feeling you out to see if Captain Zod really did send you type situation. So she's insight checking you mechanically to see if you are on the up and up. So if you're resisting those kind of light talk probes, then roll versus her insight, or if you're just on the open, you can just be on the open.
Nope, right now she's pretty much on the open.
Okay.
Pretty much if it came up, basically that we were assigned a task that we could not refuse, which I'm sure she would understand what Davari meant.
Sure.
This was the secondary portion of that task.
So at one point, she actually probably even after a particularly good win at the table, she apologizes for telling you to go fuck yourself. She's just a little on edge from the friends that are coming, and with that, the priestess snorts and says, "I don't even want to know what kind of friends have you on edge, Tarina, because you know Tarina's badass."
I'm gonna actually be examining the dice I palmed or just took, by the way.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a investigation check.
Okay.
And actually, you're the only one downstairs now, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a perception check from you as well.
Milo should be down there as well.
Oh, sorry, Milo. I didn't see your.
My wing too. All three of us. I'm right here.
Oh, there yours is. It's the white background. Like
Runs
ninja.
it.
Yeah.
15 on the investigation check, 7 on the perception check.
Okay, I need a perception check from you. Perception check from you also, Milo, please.
Did you want a one night wing too? Do you know?
Sure. I can do one because his sheet's in here for Decimus. And then as far as the dice go, They look on the up and up. I mean, the corners are well worn. They're well used dice, but they don't seem weighted or messed with in any way.
Okay.
So let's see here. Looks like Milo is the only person. Well, I'm sorry. Travis's character would see this as well. But there are 2 new figures that have entered and are kind of posted up beside Skona and Clank downstairs now. And it won't let. Oh, because I'm not on the right layer. Ay, oh, mio. I should just move them all to this layer. I'm going to do that quick. Ugh. Are you guys down for playing a little bit longer tonight, or do we need to be calling it now?
I'm good.
Well, I have to go, so I still have to go eat.
Oh yeah, food.
Eating
So, yeah.
is for the weak,
That's
well,
what
I'm going to get
coffee's
weak.
for. Coffee.
So
right?
yeah.
How about you, Terry? Are you sticking around, or do you have to go too? Yes, so we eat and get to stay longer.
No, it's like it's stronger.
Oh.
So I was saying, yeah, I also have to. That's the whole point.
Stop it,
Week,
Oma.
to go eat
Okay.
food.
Well,
But I mean, you do whatever you want with Milo, because Milo's going to go in the background. If you new people there, are going to take the orders. And for everyone that doesn't give me money, and that hasn't given me money, they already have a tab in their name. Just throwing it out there. So, man, guys,
how
thanks.
did that work? Oh, because I'm not there anymore. Ugh!
So I'm going to go, but I'm going to try to chat up the half orc just to give him my
Okay,
drink and try to convert him.
gotcha.
Okay. Maybe we should stop for tonight then.
Yeah, we can do that. In the realm of discussion, are we interested in 3-hour sessions on Sundays, or do you want to keep it at 2?
3 hours is fine with me if we want to push it to 3. Fine. The only reason we have
3 hours works for me too.
The only reason I do 2 hours on Saturdays is because everyone's schedules, it just works out better.
Right. And we'd probably have to start an hour earlier for those guys who are leaving like right at 9. So I'll throw it out in the conversation to see if we maybe want to start an hour earlier, so we can do a 3-hour session since it's every other Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
Because actually a lot of tonight was ad-libbed and we didn't even get to the encounter that I prepared for.
I figured.
So, sorry
which
about
is-
the table thing. I just saw an opportunity to
Oh, no, there was
be a
lots-
bard.
That was awesome. No. That was
There was-
I
There was
fully.
because I'm trying to drop a lot of the exposition / story threads for you guys too,
Mhm.
and and I'm still trying to figure out where they are hiding stuff in this overlay. But reading online, this what's